Hi Neela, hoping that you are well. Wanting to send you the screencasts of how to use the slides with the assignment. Hopefully you can see that they are up side by side here. You should have gotten your monthly salary from me in class. If you didn't get that, let me know. So then what we would do is we would just go through the slides. So the slides kind of set it up. What we're trying to do is see if you have $2 million if you are married or $1 million if you are single so that you can retire. And if you can't retire, then that'll kind of come out with the math. So you have your first choice. Your first choice here is college. You can go to a high-ranked college with name recognition, a college that's a great fit, or you don't go to college. So then you can click on one of these links for the college that you chose. So say that we go to a great fit. Here, it's going to tell you some information that you're going to copy into here and also into this information here. So there's not a whole lot that you have to do on this slide. You would say that your degree costs your $100,000, so that would go into your student loans. And then it would be an interest rate of 5%, which you'd copy to 5% here. The loan period is your 10 years, which is 120 months. And then you would have to use your equation, and your equation is y equals a. So let me just type that here, math type. And you can use the math type to help you with your math. So y equals a times 1 plus r to the power of x, not 4r. Now remember, your r needs to be a percent. So in this case, you would use the interest, or the student loans is your a value, and the interest rate, which we said is 5%, which is 0.05 as your R value, and your X would be 10 years. And you would plug that into this, and then to find your monthly payment, you would take your answer to this equation and divide it by your 120 months. So hopefully that piece is making a little bit of sense. So then once you have your student loans, you go in here to your monthly salary. You're going to figure out what 25% of that is and then subtract it for amount of salary left over, because that's what you get to keep after you pay your taxes. You're not going to take your entire paycheck home, unfortunately. And make sure you show your work for that. Then we click here on the slides and we go to our next choice, and you pick a car. You can choose a gently used SUV, a brand new electric vehicle, or an old Toyota Corolla. Whatever one you want to pick, you click on that link and you go there. So then you have your price. For this one, it's 32,000. That goes in your price. This one has discounts. Those discounts are going to be $16,000. So then your total cost of the car ends up being 16,000. Here, your down payment is 1,000. You write that right here. So your loan here is 15,000. That's what you put here. Every 3% interest, that goes here. Your loan period is 5 years, that goes here. And you use that same equation that we used before, plugging in your 15,000 for your A value, 0.05 for your rate, and 5 for your time or your X value. Take that answer, you divide it by 60 and put the answer here. Now there's some other information on this slide that we're going to put on this next slide. Gas doesn't cost you anything, so that's a 0. Okay, you also don't have to figure out any information there, but you have $100 for insurance, registration, and maintenance, so you can kind of split that up as 50 and 50 or 100 and 0. And we also need to budget $20 a month to rent a car if you have to travel farther than you can with your electric vehicle. With the other cars, so say that you're looking at the gently used SUV, there's no discounts and there's no other expenses for that one. So you would just kind of have to look at the slides to figure out what goes into these holes, and some of these holes may be 0. Okay, so then our next choice is love and marriage, and that's going to be here on your worksheet. You pick your choice and click on that link. And then it tells you about your home. So the home price in this case is 450,000. So we put that in our home price. Our down payment is 45,000. So we put that in our down payment. Our loan is 405,000. So we put that in our loan. The interest rate is 4.5%, so we put that in our interest rate. Our loan period is 30 years, so that goes into loan period. And then we do the total price with interest is that same equation you used before, y equals a times 1 plus r to the power of x, where your a is your 405,000, your r is your 0.045 for 4.5%, and your x is 30 years. You get that answer, you divide by your 360 months, and you put that answer here in monthly payment. Then we can come down to here and it tells you what your HOA dues are, tells you what your utilities are, it tells you what your water is, and all of that stuff is right here on your slides. Okay. Then we can go to checking in. And what you need to do is you need to take your monthly income. Now, if you were married, you double what you had here with the amount of salary left over. If you're not married, you leave that as it is and put that here. To find the amount of money left over each month, you take all of these things here from your student loan payments down to your cell phone bill and add them. You take that sum and subtract it from your income. So it's income minus all of your bills, and that gives you the money left over. Okay, so then if you have a positive amount left over, we come over to here and we can do some investing. You would type that amount left over here if it's positive. If it's negative, you just circle no money left over and move on to your reflection. If you have a positive amount of money left over, you multiply that by 0.75 because we're not going to invest all of our money. And then our interest rate, so we would click yes, money left over. And you probably hear my dogs in the background. Our interest rate is 4%. Right here, 4%. Our loan period or term is 40 years. That goes right here. And then I've given you a link here in your stream to figure out your investments. So you go here, this monthly savings. And we would come in here and we'd say our initial investment is 0, say that we have $500 left over every month. Our interest rate is 4%. We have 480 months to invest, 0 for the income tax rate and 0 for the annual inflation rate, and we let it calculate it for us. Calculate, and right here it says that we would have $592,950.61 left. We would copy that and we would place it here with our total investments. And then it says to add that to our house, which was 450,000, and that would get us to $1 million. It wouldn't get us to 2 million if we were married. So in that case, we would not be able to retire. And then you'd come down here and do your reflection. You can type everything in here to your online document from Google Classroom, or you can write on that physical paper that I gave you, take some really clear pictures and either email them to me or upload them to your Google Classroom. If you still have questions, please let me know. We might want to try a Google Meet if you still have questions so we can go through it together, okay? I hope you're doing well and we'll talk to you again soon.